brothers and sisters, aunties, uncles, and play cousins. What's good, my family? It's your boy, Professor Michael. Hey, check it out. So before I get started, y'all can see that my construction or view or of the arrangement of the screen is different today. I'm on the other side. And the only reason why I did that is because I keep getting these comments about how when they look at my videos and stuff like that, the wording, the O and everything on my hat, is backwards and so forth and so on. And whenever I'm doing, the words are backwards, and everybody keeps saying it's because your screen is reversed, your screen is mirrored. But I'll go ahead and explain to y'all. Actually, the screen wasn't reversed, which is why you got the review. It's kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror, if I move left, I'm moving left. If I move right, I'm moving right. You know what I'm saying? But in an actual recording, when the camera's looking at you, it's looking at you as if it's in the mirror. So the reason why you were seeing everything in reverse is because it actually wasn't reversed, if that makes sense. You were actually seeing it the same way I was seeing it. As if you were looking into the mirror with me. So in order to get it to make it look so that everything is normal, now I had to actually reverse my screen, flip my screen, so that way you're seeing it in reverse of what I'm seeing it. Does that make sense? Now it makes it look like you're actually looking at me and not looking in the mirror with me. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if that makes any sense, but when you first do the recording, if you don't reverse the screen, you're seeing what I'm seeing. Like you're seeing it through my lens. But once I do reverse the screen, then it makes it look like you're another person looking at me. Anyway, the only reason why I always did it, like normal, I like to do it as I'm looking at it, is because sometimes it's weird, because when you reverse the screen, like you'll see this now. If I move to the left, it shows me on the screen moving to the right. And if I move to the right, it shows me on the screen moving to the left. And I hated that. I used to always hate that, because then I get discombobulated. Like I'll be making moves or I'll be pointing at something over here and it's actually over there, and I'm like, well, yeah, okay, stop that. So you got to get used to the mechanics of the screen being reversed. Anyway, I wanted to make it so that it was easier for y'all. So now I'm going to be doing everything so that I'm seeing it from your eyes instead of you seeing it from mine. You probably didn't even need to know all that, but I'm telling you that now. Anyway, all right, we got 2 more songs left to get out of here with the Inpatient drop. Inpatient, today we're doing Lunatic Lullaby, and I'm looking forward to it. We've only got 2 left. Letting y'all know. Y'all let me know in the chat. I'm also going to post this as a post so that I can get y'all, who's going to be there, sort of thing. But I'm going to be doing the live, reaction to the album itself. I'm going to be doing that. I'm thinking Monday. I'm going to do that at, I want to say 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that'll be 3 p.m. Eastern in the United States. So for all my renegades that are in the UK and other places, check your time, compare to see whether or not that's going to be a decent time for y'all. I'm going to post that in a post probably later today, so y'all can start letting me know who's going to be able to attend, who will be there, this, that, and the other. But yeah, so if I do it 2 p.m., then that should make it to where it's not midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning for everybody else. And some of y'all will be able to attend. And it still makes it at a time that I can actually sit down to do it. But all right, let's get into it. Let's get these 2 songs done. Lunatic Lullaby. I don't know what I'm in store for. As always, just when I think I'm not getting anything, I get it. I went back and played Mason Jar over and over and over again. I don't know why that song tickles the hell out of me. And then yeah, I'm not. We're not gonna do the playback. I can't wait to do the album reaction drop to y'all with y'all, so that way I can I can actually talk about which ones are my favorites. Let me do my housekeeping, y'all. If you're not already subscribed, wait a minute, I said that completely backwards. Make sure you hit the like on this video. Make sure you hit the like on this video. And if you're not already subscribed to Old Heads Media, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of it. We're on our road to 10,000 and we plan on going way beyond that. All right. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can stay up on everything that we do over here. Let's go. I feel like I've got some sort of anxiety or something like that because I'm ready to get to these songs. So yeah, before I stumble any more today, let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right. That's what I think it is. Oh, they tripping now. They tripping now. That guitar is fire, though. the little blinking. You know, he had fun with this one because he got a chance to just sit back and play on the guitar.
I remember swinging like a pendulum by my umbilical cord.
What?
The surgeon held me up proudly like a prized fish, and all I could think was put me back. Put me back. To be violently ejected from the safety of the womb into this Tartarian nightmare felt cruel. I looked up at my mother, once my home, and now the orchestrator of my exile, and I felt...
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I caught that bar. I caught that bar. That's the Tartarian thing caught me. Hold on.
To be violently ejected from the safety of the womb into this Tartarian nightmare felt cruel.
To be violently ejected from the safety of the womb into this Tartarian... Why I stopped with her face looking like that? Tartarian nightmare felt cruel. The Tartarian thing. The Tartarian thing that he said, he basically said, to be violently ejected from the safety of my womb into this lost civilization is basically what he just said. That was bars. That was bars.
Safety of the womb into this Tartarian nightmare felt cruel. I looked up at my mother, once my home, and now the orchestrator of my exile, and I felt deserted.
Orchestrator of my exile.
I'd feel this feeling again.
Let me stop.
With
I know I'm
everyone
supposed to
I'd
let
ever
it play.
I remember summoning a burst of air from my diaphragm, and it ripped through the tightly strung fibers of my vocal cords, and I made a terribly repugnant sound. A giant ugly gloved hand hoisted my tiny writhing body onto a sterilized surface and began hacking at my umbilical cord with a stainless steel scalpel. Who were these barbarians that would sever me from my one avenue of nourishment? I was passed back to my mother, and she looked down at me, and she smiled. How can you smile at a time like this? What is this world? I quickly realized that I did not belong here. The one thing that brought solace, that brought peace, was the rhythmic beat emanating from my mother's heart monitor. I remember it clearly now. It beat like a metronome. Steady. Rhythmically. And all of a sudden, I could hear music. Yeah. I could hear music, and in that music I could hear the heartbeat of the universe, primal, connected, formless yet with form, empty spaces filled with bursts of matter, and I was enamored, I was in awe, I was at the altar of gods. I knew I had to pursue this feeling every day, or I would surely die.
That was fire. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go past the guitaring and just get straight to the words. Okay. I'm gonna go past it and go straight to the words. Um, that was actually really interesting. That was really interesting. I wouldn't quite call that a song. That was more like, back in our days, how I miss them too. Back in our days, how like albums back then used to have like skits. That was more like a skit. I miss that. I miss the skits. The skits believe it or not, they actually added value to the projects. But this was more like a long skit. On the timestamp, 5 minutes and something. On the timestamp, it looks like a song. And, you had the guitar riff, like kind of like the little mini jam session. And that was dope. I always love listening to the guitar when they play the guitar. But for them, that had to have been fun too, for him, because he got a chance to just close his eyes and sit there and play some guitar. With that being said, the talking part, even though it was like a skit, I don't understand. I don't think we will, and that includes me. I don't think we're going to understand right away the depth of the words he's choosing. I think it's kind of interesting to view it from the perspective of a child that's in the womb, and they're showing it looking at his hands. They're showing it like the first time it opens his eyes and all that kind of stuff. So it's giving you the baby is aware, like the memories, the functions, the thoughts, all that stuff are beginning now. So whether you know it or not, or just because they can't speak or because they can't do anything like that, like they're actually processing information already. That's interesting as hell to show it from that perspective, to show that I actually do have thoughts and feelings right now in in the, you know what I'm saying, in the womb. This is actually really interesting the way it's put. But I'm gonna go back through it. There's a couple of things specifically that I want to cover. This might be my shortest reaction to one of their songs yet, because I don't think that I don't need to spend an hour on this video, but there are a couple of things that I want to address. So I'm gonna go back through it.
I remember swinging like a pendulum by my umbilical cord.
And that pendulum thing, you know what I'm saying? That he's used that many times before. And I get the thought behind the pendulum concept, but it's interesting. He starts it because he says, "I remember." You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I was just talking about us being aware and having thought and having feelings and having all that kind of stuff. Like my brain is actually functioning even before I can actually talk. Like these things are in my development. You know what I'm saying? Because he starts it off saying, "I remember."
The surgeon held me up proudly like a prized fish. And all I could think was put me back.
The surgeon held me up proudly like a prize fish. You know how like they go competitions, they go fishing and then they hold the fish up and take a picture with the fish. And you know what I'm saying? But it's catch and release. You know, you're not supposed to keep the fish when you're in competitions and stuff like that. So he's saying all I could think was put me back, like how they throw a fish back, prize fish, throw it back, catch and release. Bro, that was dope. See, there's bars. There's bars.
Put me back. To be violently ejected from the safety of the womb into this Tartarian nightmare felt cruel.
So I know I said something about that on the playthrough because I stopped it. But, you know, as I was listening to the rest of it, my brain was working at the same time. And I was like, I don't think I really explained why I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like they would say conspiracy theorists. You know, he said violently ejected from the womb into this Tartarian nightmare. You know what I'm saying? But there's a group of conspiracy theorists that are called the Tartarian Empire, which is actually, damn, thinking about it going further. It's actually interesting because Tartaria to them is a lost civilization. They see it as a lost civilization. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not so deep into it that I understand all the specifics and stuff like that of what goes on or why this, that, and the other. But the reason why that stuck out to me is because they call it the lost civilization. The conspiracy theorists, the conspiracy theory group, call it the lost civilization. So it's almost like he's being cheeky right here when he says to take me out of the safety of the womb and eject me, or to eject me out of the safety of the womb and put me into this Tartarian nightmare. So it's almost like he's saying this lost civilization. You know what I'm saying? Into this lost civilization, which is fire. You know what I'm saying? And speaks truth. You know what I'm saying? Into this lost civilization. And this lost civilization, you know, really kind of describes where we at right now. It really does.
I looked up at my mother, once my home, and now the orchestrator of my exile, and I felt deserted.
And then when you think about that in terms of like lost civilization, you start thinking about, at least I do, you know, when I start thinking about somebody talking like that, I'm thinking about, like, he said, Tartarian, you know, the Tartarian nightmare. But like I said, you know, the group is called the Tartarian Empire. You know, and the reason why that's important is because of like these lines right here. It makes me think of words that you would use when you talk about an empire, you know, like going back to the ancient days or whatever, and you would call it, and you would use words like empire, you know, and he's using words like exile, would be the orchestrator of my exile. Exile is a word that you would use if you were talking about an empire. Like that's the language of those, of that kind of, you get what I'm trying to say. I know my words are not coming together. I told y'all sometimes I have a problem getting it from here to here, but the point is it all fits.
I'd feel this feeling again with everyone that I'd ever loved.
That was hard right there. He said, I'd feel this feeling again with everyone that I ever loved. Exiled. That's, bruh.
I remember summoning a burst of air from my diaphragm, and it ripped through the tightly strung fibers of my vocal cords, and I made a terribly repugnant sound.
You see, you even go back to that word. These are all words that are used when you think about the word empire. And I'm sorry, because I'm stuck on that. It goes all the way back to the Tartarian Empire thing. You know what I'm saying? Because he said, I remember summoning. He used exile. Now he's using words like summoning. He's not, you know what I'm saying? These are all words that you would use when you're talking about, when you're speaking that kind of language that you would speak in an empire.
With everyone that I'd ever loved. I remember summoning a burst of air from my diaphragm, and it ripped through the tightly strung fibers of my vocal cords, and I made a terribly repugnant sound. A giant ugly gloved hand hoisted my tiny writhing body onto a sterilized surface and began hacking at my umbilical cord with a stainless steel scalpel. Who were these barbarians that would sever me from my one avenue of nourishment?
Even that fits. Barbarians, sever. Where all these words fit when you, again, I'm going to keep saying now I'm fixated on the empire part. The Tartarian, he says Tartarian nightmare, but now I'm fixated on the Tartarian empire, because now you take empire and all these lines, he says, with this barbarian, sever. These are all words that you would use in an empire. I've said that like 5 times now. Y'all don't need me to say it again, right?
My umbilical cord with a stainless steel scalpel. Who were these barbarians that would sever me from my one avenue of nourishment? I was passed back to my mother, and she looked down at me, and she smiled. How can you smile at a time like this?
How can you smile at a time like this? He said, sever me from my one avenue of nourishment. Fire.
What is this world? I quickly realized that I did not belong here.
I did not belong here.
The one thing that brought solace, that brought peace, was the rhythmic beat emanating from my mother's heart monitor.
That to me was the deepest part of this whole thing, because he didn't say, like when a baby is born, when a baby is delivered, they do the little cleaning up and everything, and they lay the baby on the mother so that the baby can feel the mother's, or hear whatever the mother's heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't say. I thought it was really, really, really dope that he didn't say the one area of solace was, the rhythmic beating emanating from my mother's heartbeat, from my mother's heart. He said from the heart monitor. This man said the heart monitor was not my mother's heartbeat, the heart monitor. That's funny as hell, but dope at the same time.
I remember it clearly now. It beat like a metronome. Steady. Rhythmically. And all of a sudden, I could hear music. Yeah, I could hear music.
It even takes me all the way back to when we did the last reaction. What was a couple videos ago when he had the line cursed since birth. You know what I'm saying? When he did I was cursed since birth, all that other kind of stuff. And I even mentioned in that thing that he was talking about like music. It was, you know what I'm saying, the monster video. When I was saying that they were talking about this being the monster, their music, their gift being the monster. And now in this song, he's talking about, or a song, now in this skit is what I'm gonna call it. He's talking about, you know, being born and hearing the metronome and all this, that, and the other. And this kind of takes me back to that same line, being cursed since birth. Since I was born, I knew that I had to do this. I mean, like the whole thing.
I could hear music. Yeah.
He knew music. He knew music was the thing since the day he was born. He was born for music. Bro, that's like, bro.
I could hear music, and in that music, I could hear the heartbeat of the universe. Primal, connected, formless yet with form. Empty spaces filled with bursts of matter. And I was enamored. I was in awe. I was at the altar of gods.
Even that was bars right there. Because he said primal, which again fits into the, you know, to the early existence of mankind. You know what I'm saying? But also could be a word that was used during an empire. But then he says formless and this, that, and the other. And this whole thing, I want to hear that again because that's almost biblical what he's saying right there.
Was in awe. I was at the altar of God's heartbeat of the universe. Primal, connect.
Yeah, he said I could hear the heartbeat of the universe.
Formless yet with form. Empty.
Formless yet with form.
Spaces filled with bursts of matter. And
empty spaces filled with bursts of matter. It's almost like, you know, the creation of the universe, you know, in the beginning. The earth was formless without form, or you know what I'm trying to say. The words got jumbled, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like the story of creation, and this is creation for him, and a new world for him. Like all of this, bruh. And then he sums it up by saying, "I was at the altar of gods." After he's talking about creation, you see what I'm saying? So it plays into like the whole biblical theme. Bro, that's fire.
I was enamored. I was in awe. I was at the altar of gods. I knew I had to pursue this feeling every day, or I would surely die.
I knew I had to pursue this feeling every day, or I would surely die. Yeah, that reminds me. That makes me feel like I was more accurate than I thought I was when I was talking about when they was doing to me and my monster. It makes me feel like I was more accurate than I thought I was because he's saying since birth, I've had this heartbeat of music. My heart functioned from off of music. And I knew that if I didn't do this every day, that there would be no other reason for me to live. Like, this is my reason for being here. This is my reason for being born. Bruh, I'm sorry. Leave it up to me to find so much depth in a skit. And leave it up to Ren. Leave it up to Ren to put music in a flat line. It can't just be a normal flat line for Ren. It's got to be a musical flat line for Ren. That's it, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get through this one. There was really not a lot. I'm not going to say there was not a lot to break down because I just broke down quite a bit of unnecessary stuff. But if it catches my attention, I got to tell you. So, all right, let's get on into it. We got one more song. I'm about to go ahead and record that one now. They both are going to drop back to back today because I'm getting it done. So you're going to get one And then an hour later, you're going to get the second one, the last one today. You know what I'm trying to say. All right. So I'll see y'all in a few minutes. I love y'all. Nothing you can do about it.